Sure, whatever. Left all this shit on the stairs. Raised in a barn? Jesus Christ. Oh, man, this couch is like, just absorbs you. What's going on, editors? This is so professional. All right, editor note. So for this one, what I'm thinking about doing is like trying to give an overview of where we're at with Atlantis. We're long overdue for an update, I think. And so I wanna kind of give the good people at home an idea of where we're at with the video, because now that it's like starting to come together, I wanna kind of give that update. But I'm a little behind on my research, as you well know, just a couple years behind. And so, embarrassing though that is, I thought maybe I could do a little bit of research first. So I'm gonna throw this on, I think, and then when this is done, I'll hopefully have a better idea of just, you know, an update to give. So I'll watch this first, and then we can, you know, do the actual, give the people what they want kind of thing. So none of this goes in the video, obviously. This is something that's cut. This is just for the editors, and it's not for a bit. It's not for a sketch, and no one except you will see it. SJ, Josh, Kayla, Gianfranco, potentially Kale even. You're the only ones that will see this. There's no greater purpose to this part of the video. All right. What is going on, Uncut Nation? It's your boy, Milo RIZZI from the Uncut Vermont Podcast. The only podcast in the world that delivers nothing but truth bombs, where we have the balls to say whatever we want. Censorship? Nuh-uh. Woke agenda?
I don't think so.
A general grip of reality and basic critical thinking skills? Absolutely fucking not. Is your third eye open? And do you spend every day cowering in your truck, living in fear about a trans kid playing tennis?
Well, me too, brother.
I'd say sister too, but let's be honest. I don't think we got any of them right now. Probably because of the woke mind virus. Well, today, my fellow alphas, sigmas, and ligmas, we have a truth bomb of
megalithic proportions.
I'm not talking moon landing hoax or that vaccines make trans kids play tennis.
We leave that to the normies like Joe Rogan.
Because today, gentlemen, and that one lady who is being made to watch this by her boyfriend that she should really break up with.
Girl, you are so much better than this.
It is with my
deepest pleasure
that I can say we have discovered the lost city of Atlantis. That's right, not clickbait,
no soundstage,
and no tennis balls or testosterone in sight. Wait, no, just testosterone in sight.
Yeah!
So sit
the fuck down.
Listen
the fuck up.
And get ready to have your uncut mind
blown
on this episode of the Uncut Vermont Podcast. Schmink in the room. Schmink in the room. Schmink in the room. Not the fucking Ray Dunn font. Uncut Vermont Podcast. Episode 3. Season 3. I guess it would be each one would be its own season with one episode.
Yeah. I think a 3-season running show is more impressive than a 3rd episode.
Than a 3-episode show, yeah.
Yeah. Get this man a Sharpie.
Get this man a Sharpie.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Uncut Vermont Podcast.
Welcome back.
to the Uncut Vermont Podcast.
Uncut Vermont Podcast.
Season 3.
Season 3. This is great. I see why they don't make tables like this. Cool. Cool. Awesome. Maybe do we want lav mics for this?
Yes.
Yeah. We can pretend to be professional. Locked the fuck in. Okay. So we find ourselves here again.
Yes.
This time with the simple and easy task of finding Atlantis.
Yeah.
Many have tried, none have succeeded. But today, that's going to change. And I think the only place logically to start is with the hit 1880-something book, Atlantis, the Antediluvian World.
You read my mind.
I've been saying this.
Where have you been, bro?
By brilliant and not remotely racist guy, Ignatius Donnelly. So we have in this book his stellar research that is very up to date and along with this even is a transcript of Plato's story of Atlantis, because that's where the Atlantis fable comes from. Plato wrote it down in this book, and it's unfinished, of course, so that's how you know it's really good, because he was silenced before he could finish it, you know.
They didn't want the truth to get out.
The woke agenda got to him. Yeah, exactly. Woke agenda, 10 CE, or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah, and I think it's really good that we're coming back to this now in the day of our Lord 2026 or whatever it is.
Yes.
Because there's new forensic technology that we have available to us that allows us to really dig into this script in a way that hasn't been done before.
You're bringing some of that technology with you today. Would you mind telling us what this latest technology is called?
It's pretty technical. So I'm gonna get into the details here. It's a little jargony. So I press Command C. No, actually Command A, Command C, and then I switch over to my Charles GPT tab and Command V.
Wow.
And so here we have the entire script now posted in this window.
Holy fucking shit. Is that the whole book?
Yes. And so this really allows us to delve into the depths of the true meaning behind it. Because when they were writing these books, I mean, like, he didn't finish Plato, the original. Like, he couldn't get through it all. So, like, writing this book, like, that's a finished, published book. And they wouldn't have let him publish that finished book if it was overtly telling the truth. So he had to use code and scripts and things behind the scenes that are not visible to the human eye. So he was just waiting for a society in the future to have the tools.
He dreamed of a man named Charles, Charles GPT,
and uncover what he actually meant.
Because somewhere hidden behind all that pesky nuance and shit, there is the actual truth.
Yeah.
So I think that we need to use the tools at our disposal to boil this down to about a paragraph. And while you do that, I'm gonna take Plato's story and boil that down to about a paragraph as well.
Okay, and then I think we'll have the purest forms, the distilled information, the raw, uncut truth.
I'll be generous, because this is a lot of
This is a lot.
text. I'm gonna say 3 paragraphs. Oh, it's too long? What? What do you mean?
What? Dude, this is
That kind of feels like an artificial constraint.
That does. I think this is the woke mind virus. They're trying to stop us from learning the truth of Atlantis. Consolidate, not consolidate, shorten this story to the most important parts. Wow, there's already like 9-10 sentences here.
Wow.
Way too fucking
That's
long.
a lot.
Come on, dude. Fucking blow it out your
Read
ass.
that all?
Oh my God. If you want, I can also show you a 5 to 6 sentence ultra short summary. Boy, do I. Please generate. No, you don't exist. You don't get a please. Think for me, computer. Okay, we're getting somewhere, Henry. So my thought, if we're gonna find Atlantis, we need to figure out the defining characteristics of Atlantis.
What makes an Atlantis Atlantis?
What makes an Atlantis an Atlantis? Huge island.
Write that down.
Beyond Strait of Gibraltar. Bigger.
It just wants to die.
Bro, we all been there at least once, you know?
Eat hot chip and die.
Eat hot chip and die. Girls these days only want one thing, eat hot chip and die. Bigger than Libya and Asia combined.
Wow.
Libya and Asia. It's bigger than Africa and Connecticut combined. What the fuck does that even mean? What's the square footage of Asia? How big is Asia?
Asia is the largest continent on Earth. Size
Cool.
about 44.6 million kilometers, 17.2 square miles, million.
17.2 square miles. Cool. All right.
This is roughly 30% of Earth's total land mass. Okay, wait. Don't write any of that down.
All right. How big is Libya?
Add Libya. If we add Libya to Asia.
Which we should have done a long time ago, I might add.
Okay, do we want this in freedom units?
Yeah, obviously.
Okay.
There's no other units.
17.9 million square miles.
17.9 square miles. So that's the size that we're looking for, and we know that it's beyond the Strait of Gibraltar, or they called it the Pillars of Hercules. We also know, 2, fertile. We're looking for somewhere fertile.
Okay.
I don't think that needs any further context.
Yeah, okay.
Distinctive geography and city design. Capital city had concentric rings of land and water around a central hill. Concentric rings of land and water. Mountains surround a large, flat, rectangular plain used for agriculture and settlements. Surrounded by mountains. Divine origin, founded by the sea god Poseidon. Okay, so these are its physical characteristics. Dude,
That's fucking rude.
that was fucked up. What the hell was that about? It didn't die. I guess it just like probably fucking overheated or something.
It decided it was done.
Eat hot chip and die. Ruled by 10 kings. We got to have a number in there somewhere.
Yeah, okay.
10 of them.
10 of them.
10
10 of
kings. Advanced infrastructure, obviously. Enormous wealth and resources. Military might. Moral decline and destruction.
Damn, that sucks.
Yeah, huge L. Moral decline, became greedy and corrupt. I think that's a good start.
Yeah.
Now, right off the bat, I'm gonna say, if we're looking for a large landmass that's beyond the Pillars of Hercules or the Strait of Gibraltar and is fertile, wealthy, advanced, has a massive military might, and moral rot. That's the good old US of A, baby.
Baby, we're there.
Baby,
we're living
there.
it.
So I think we know where we need to start looking.
Yeah. So,
Wow, you know, when I look at that and I see, you know, this story about a place that is, I don't know, they think they're on top of the world and they have all this really powerful technology and they use it for evil and, you know, they are corrupted by a moral rot at the center of society. I almost look at that and think like, could he have meant this as like an allegory? Is there anything we could like learn from this? Should
No.
we be reflecting on this to learn anything about our society?
no, I don't think so.
I completely
Like,
agree.
I like that.
Not a
that
chance.
Just doesn't make sense.
Not a fucking chance. He
No.
meant this literally.
It's, yeah, because he's talking about a literal divine place. That has corruption at its core and uses its might for ill-gotten gains.
Which we'd never do.
No.
That because they learned their lesson. We've learned
And
from
we
this.
we can see in the past how it ended up for them, so we're not doomed to repeat the mistakes of the past.
Never. Not a fucking chance.
I want to show you something that's a little interesting.
Show me.
A little
Show me
curious.
something a little interesting.
Now look at Iowa.
What is that even a map of? What the fuck what is happening in Iowa?
See, the question isn't that. It's what isn't happening.
What are they not telling you about Iowa?
I added a map layer that's supposed to be just like the like level 3 of
Containment zone.
containment zones.
The Iowa DMZ.
And I guess Iowa doesn't have any.
What the fuck? I added a series of concentric electric fences around
Like, there's
Iowa.
Cleveland.
All right, wait, hold on. We need a little bit more of a fact finding. Give me some statistics for the good old US of A. How big is, actually wait, real quick, would you mind quickly printing out a screenshot of Iowa surrounded by that weird grid?
I got it.
You didn't bring that printer all the way out here for nothing. Cool. Awesome.
Okay.
We can use this as
Yes.
our strategy to figure out the similarities between the two. Really good stuff here, guys. Cool. This is just... Here. What the fuck? Cool. Perfect.
Okay.
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 All right,
Let's
hit me.
get serious.
Lock in, guys. No more funny business.
3,796,742 square miles.
Okay. All right, so we're lacking a little bit here. This is before modern borders, though. So maybe we combine, what about we add Canada,
Yeah.
we add Mexico,
Yeah.
We can throw Libya in
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Why not?
Add a Libya. Margin of error of 1 Libya.
Plus minus 1 Libya. United States, add Canada, add Mexico, throw in a Libya. For good measure. We get 9,089,653.
That's a lot closer.
That is-
Is there anything else we could add? Well, some of it went underwater because, fuck it, we could add Greenland. We could probably, what's the continental shelf like? Because that was probably part of it.
Pretty deep, I think.
Wet, most likely.
Okay.
All right, so hear me out with this, Henry. We're looking for something that is on a huge island, fertile, might I remind you, in case you forgot. Exactly. And it's surrounded by mountains. Now, if we're, now that we have discovered, truthfully, that it's beyond the Pillars of Hercules, it has to be North America. That means that my running theory is that West Coast doesn't count, doesn't exist, wasn't there. That was pushed up recently,
Yeah.
God did it or something. But mountains, and fertile.
Dude. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Fertile.
I'm just saying. I'm talking fertile, okay? Throw that bitch at the printer.
You want to see something interesting?
Oh my God, don't tell me. Do not
Here's
tell
an
me.
ocean floor depth map of Iowa.
Now that is interesting. Can you print that as well? That needs to go up there. Compelling gameplay, guys. This is part of some other ongoing research.
We're just asking some questions. For example, Iowa?
The depth map of Iowa. It's just like a map with like a blue shade over it. Okay, we've had the first major breakthrough in the case. This is the worst framing. Look at the top of my head is cut off. This is the first major break that we've had in the case so far. Beyond the Strait of Gibraltar? Check. This size doesn't quite matter because it has to be surrounded by mountains. Rocky Mountains, Appalachian Mountains, and in the middle, fertile. Must we remember. So, I think that if we are to be looking for Atlantis, it's gonna be somewhere in here. Why it's not underwater anymore, that doesn't matter. God or something.
God or something.
Yeah, so we don't need to worry about that. All this shit, California, you
Like
know.
subduction zones.
Subduction zones,
Geothermal.
I think,
like
electromagnetism, fissures.
Yeah.
Frequencies.
Yeah.
Frequencies
Some of those are
probably.
involved.
There's
Yeah,
definitely
for
frequencies
sure.
going on.
Yeah. Well, this precise area was about 1.4. And that was within the range that they gave us. It was like 1.2 to 1.6.
I think this is it, dude. I think we're closing in.
Yeah.
I think
And
the
I mean,
land between the Rocky Mountains and the Appalachian Mountains.
Yeah.
I think that's the place.
I'm glad we got the supplies. For this.
Yeah, we're gonna need this. We're gonna fucking need this.
to Iowa.
To Iowa. Long may she reign. Where is Iowa in this?
It's like, it's there.
It's also down here. It's somewhere in
like
there.
That's kind of
near the middle of this.
like suspiciously a little bit kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
You know?
Fully. And I've heard that Iowa is pretty fertile.
Yeah.
Hey chat, how fertile is Iowa?
Anyone have some firsthand experience in how fertile
The
Iowa is?
fertility of Iowa.
Iowa is considered one of the most fertile places on Earth. Soil.
No fucking way, bro. Dude, I think we're fucking onto something here.
Iowa sits on some of the world's deepest and richest topsoil.
Really?
Wow. Yeah. Averaging 6 to 18 inches deep in most areas.
Deep, rich,
And deeper in some regions.
deep, rich, fertile.
Boom.
What more could you want in a man? I mean, fuck.
Averaging 6 to 18 inches. What more could you want in a man? Why so fertile?
Doesn't the Joker say that?
Why so fertile, Batman?
Why so 6 to 18 inches, Batman? Iowa is a lot like Batman.
This could lead to something. So there's a few things that we need to kind of figure out. There's a few things that don't quite line up.
Mm-hmm.
One of the small, like little, like I'm nitpicking here,
Yeah.
but it's not underwater.
As you can clearly see it.
But when our my research assistant is answering the important question, why so fertile? It starts out by talking about glaciers. Maybe it wasn't water.
It was ice. And Atlantis was destroyed, what, like 12,000 years ago, they say.
Yeah.
And that's when the glaciers were receding. So yeah, that sort of lines up.
Well, maybe they built it on top of the glaciers.
And the water from
And
the
then
melting glaciers. The top of a glacier, notoriously fertile. Dead ass. I think we're onto something. I'm gonna figure out the kind of final boundaries of our Atlantis.
yeah.
And we can kind of go from there.
hone in a little bit.
Hone in. There's an interactive map that you can use to see where the ice sheet was at different years.
Oh.
So you can actually see one of the lobes of the ice sheet there at the maximum extent in Iowa.
Oh, shit.
So
Okay.
this does actually show that Iowa itself was not under the glacier. And that's probably why it's so fertile too,
Yeah.
because it wasn't scraped clean. It was dust and debris and shit that was blowing around at the end. It was all outwash. So if the glacier was melting around, let's say fucking, I mean, it's gonna be way receded by this point, but we'll say, 15,000 years ago, all the water coming off that underwater.
Yeah, it would flood whatever civilization was there.
It would flood
that had
whatever
been
civilization is there.
From the fertile.
Might I remind you, the fertility. So I think we're onto something. There we go. Oh fuck.
Wow. Did you know that that Iowa leads the nation in hog production?
I didn't know that, Henry. I had no idea.
Oh, now you do. There's scissors in this beer drawer.
I have a screwdriver. I have, actually there might be scissors on the desk over here.
No, this might work.
Okay, cool. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna let you work on that. I'm gonna keep writing
something
shit.
Important
I got
okay?
somewhere to be.
Stop distracting me, bro. I'm focusing here.
Wait, there's this really funny meme I saw a while ago. It was like a map of like hog production in the U.S. Okay, cool, thank you. Great. We're dialing it in, guys. We are dialing it in. Did I put this in the way? Of course I fucking did. Awesome.
Number of hogs.
Number of hogs, dude. Look at fucking Iowa. That's a lot of hogs. And that was in 1900. Can you imagine how many hogs are there now?
Man, I don't
Probably
know if I want to.
an obscene amount of hogs.
Does anyone actually know how many hogs they're at now?
I think it's been overrun.
Yeah. Has
I feel
anyone
like-
heard from Iowa in a while?
Has anyone heard from Iowa? Continental United States realizes it has been 3 months since they've heard from Iowa.
How long would it take until we realized that we hadn't heard from Iowa? I'm just.
Honestly, realistically, probably 5 or 6 weeks. Probably.
Number of hogs.
Very important.
Yeah.
I don't know where.
I think it's
we're
going
fact
up top.
finding. We're fact finding here, guys.
Where were we?
The Rockies and the Appalachians form the circle of mountains around Atlantis. Atlantis is an area that is very fertile, which means it can only be some of the most fertile land in the world, Iowa. Okay, so I think now what we need to do is we need to start dialing in on Iowa to see if we can find any sort of remnants of this.
Yeah.
Because we've been able to we've gone from the kind of macro scale, and now we're dialing it in.
The whole island of Atlantis was pretty big. But
Yes.
But there was sort of a central city, right?
Yes.
There was like a central, that's where the concentric circles were kind of going into and out from.
Yes, and
And
that's
so-
theoretically what we have here.
Right, okay, got
Yeah.
it. So we need to kind of locate within the larger, because we've kind of found the mass of where Atlantis was at this point. We have that in the bag. So we just kind of need to have a little more proof as to the core of it.
Yes.
Because that's where all of the evidence will be remaining.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Whoa there, Uncut Nation. An alpha like yourself probably already knows that here on the Uncut Vermont podcast, we love history. Wait, no, that's a womany word.
We fuck with history.
And I don't mean any of that
Woke history.
native people were capable of
Building things.
women.
Existed.
Nuh-uh-uh. I don't think so. If women existed,
Why have I never felt the warmth of a woman's touch?
when I say I fuck
With history,
I mean
real history.
like these things here. The woke leftist neoliberal Marxist agenda will tell you that this is
Pseudo-archaeology.
but we know that's just because the dogmatic mainstream archaeologists can't handle a
Paradigm shift.
But I
Refuse to be censored.
made this, a poster showing all of my personal favorite real archaeological discoveries. Did you know that the ancients harnessed the power of electricity?
You bet your ass they did.
Or that dinosaurs walked alongside man 6,000 years ago?
Oh, because they did that too.
Or how about things like this that spit in the face of those
Establishment neo-Darwinist evolutionist shills.
take that, Darwin, shouldn't have been sleeping with your cousin. Leave that shit to me. As you know, there are no sponsorships on the Uncut Vermont podcast. Why?
You might ask?
Well, it's because I've been blacklisted, silenced, canceled by the woke agenda. Everyone says they won't sponsor us because of the
Dangerous misinformation and the hate speech.
I don't think so, commies, because in this country we have something called the Third Amendment. I don't have to let any of you sleep in my house. So if you
Fellow uncut citizen,
want to support the Uncut Vermont podcast directly, click that link in the description and check out one of these posters. It helps us continue doing what we do here.
and this year remember to vote to repeal the 16th Amendment and the 21st Amendment.
What is
So we know that Iowa is known for corn. And they're also known
Holy
for corn mazes.
that I didn't
And
know.
I came across this one, and I feel like it could be a map to a past Iowa.
Oh my, the trident.
The fucking
It has a
trident.
fucking
I didn't even
trident.
see the fucking trident.
Where's my book? You need to hear this shit. Wait, hold on. Put this on there. Use magnets. Where the fuck? I need a word search. Trident. He talks about this. He fucking talks about this. The three-pronged scepter or trident of Poseidon reappears constantly in ancient history. As we have seen, Poseidon, the founder of the civilization of Atlantis, is identical with Neptune, who is always represented riding a dolphin bearing a trident or a three-pronged symbol in his hand, emblematic, probably, of the Triple Kingdom. And does that not look like a fucking temple?
Yeah. Does that not look like a temple?
Does that not look like a... Dude.
If you see these stars that are dotted throughout, there are 11 there's 10 stars, and then there's one in Iowa. For the fucking 10 kingdoms that were inside of Atlantis.
Okay.
This
dude,
is
this is it. This is fucking, dude, this is a breakthrough. What is this corn maze? Where is this?
Hartsville.
Hartsville. Dude, I'm glad you found that because in it being a corn maze, it changes year to year. They thought they could pull a fast one.
That's true.
But if you go on Google Maps, it's a different corn maze now.
Holy
because they're trying to hide the truth. They know that this is a slip up. This is it. We're closing in now.
Man, they got cocky.
They got cocky.
With the fucking trident?
With the trident.
Why would there be a trident in Iowa?
In Iowa. Notoriously not under the ocean.
Famously known for being less than 200 meters under the ocean sea level.
This is it, dude. We are closing the fuck in. All right, this might be a little tough because the corn maze is not done as an exact one-to-one, but that's okay. This is gonna give us a guesstimate of what we're looking for. There we go. I'm sending it to you.
Okay.
Send that fucker to the printer. Dude, I can't believe it.
Yeah,
I can't believe
I didn't
can't believe
think that it would just be out there in public.
It's right there. It's like that felt easier than it needs to be. I can't believe they got that cocky. Holy shit.
How could they slip up?
How could they
badly?
slip up like that, dude? It's got the fucking trident. It has like a fucking temple on it.
Yeah.
Dude.
It's just, okay, it's in black and white.
It's in black and white, but that's okay. There it is. This is huge. This is a major breakthrough in the case. We need to keep that up there. That's really important. Now, do we think that the star is the hint? Or I guess we should just kind of search these locations.
Yeah.
Because we got the trident, we got what looks like a temple that I didn't circle.
Yeah.
And then we have the star in the middle of Iowa. And that almost falls on Des Moines. I feel like we could kind of loosely say that's what that represents. But for our other places, we have, if you look at exactly. So we can start to figure out what the towns are that kind of fall in this. It doesn't say Milo, does it? Near the middle thing of the trident. Oh, you are fucking kidding me. Fucking Milo, Iowa. Fucking Milo, Iowa.
Do you know more about this than you're letting on, Milo? Do you have any part of this?
I'm gonna have to kill you. I'm really sorry about this. Are you fucking kidding me? Okay, I want you to do something real quick. Have you seen the Atlantis animated movie?
I don't know if I have.
I want you to just look up a description of the movie and just read like the first paragraph.
A young linguist named Milo Thatch joins an intrepid group of explorers to find the mystical lost continent of... What the fuck?
Dude, I think we fucking did it.
Okay, to be candid, I didn't know if we were actually gonna find Atlantis by the end of this. I had my doubts. I was like, we're gonna give it our best shot. We're gonna put as much evidence as we can together. But holy fuck.
That's it. It was all there.
It was all there.
Print a photo of Milo from Atlantis.
Okay.
You gotta throw that shit up there too. It is amazing how when you set out looking for coincidences, you will find them.
Okay,
Holy
but did you
shit.
notice this? If you go from Milo, okay, and you head a little bit east, a little bit down.
A little bit down. The two directions, east and down.
You get to the quaint town of Bussy.
Are you fucking kidding me? There's no way. Bussy, Iowa. Are you fucking shitting me, dude? What? Bussy, Iowa. A quaint 40-minute drive away from Iowa. Wait, where does that fall on our on the trident?
Where does Bussy fall on the
Where
trident?
does Bussy fall?
So Milo is in between the left and the middle spear of the trident.
Yeah.
And Bussy is directly in the temple, the top of the temple.
Dude, It's all right there. It is all right there. Holy shit. This might be our best one yet. I have no idea how this actually worked out so well. Are you fucking kidding me? I need to look up the history of some of these places. We need to drill down a little. Okay,
Drill down into the pussy.
I hear it's very fertile. Holy shit. Holy shit. Wow. Dude.
It's right there.
It's literally right there. I mean, I feel like there's a couple more dots we need to connect because I think that like it would have been larger than a town of 700.
Yeah.
So this is definitely part of it, but I think that like by connecting the dots between these places that are clearly highlighted in this map,
Yeah.
I think this is Atlantis. It's this.
Yeah, I think that this is the center of power, and then these were the different kingdoms.
Oh my
throughout.
God, yeah, that's where the different kings are from.
Yeah, this might be sort of a diagram of how the layout was, because there's a circle in the middle, and then a circle around that, and then
Shit.
another one around that.
Oh my God, you're fucking right.
And they kind of have like marked like entrance points on the very outside.
Whoa, that is a weird fucking shape.
Right?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Whoa!
Dude, I can't
this
believe
is
that.
crazy. Okay, we need to lock in. Hold on. You know what? I think this is a finish your beer and start a new beer moment.
think so.
I think this is Act 3,
Yeah.
dude. I think this is Act 3. Down the bussy. Down the bud wussy. Fuck. Well, not getting a sponsorship from them anytime soon. Drawer number 3. Wow. All right.
What's
do you want
behind door number 3?
Do you want the plastic bond or the Budweiser?
I'll have the plastic bond as a chaser.
Cool. Good idea. He was a day drinker. One-way ticket. Yeah. Dude. This is good.
We're closing in.
We're closing in.
Okay.
So now I think what remains is we know that this is the rough location of the nexus, like the
Yes,
core of
yes.
Atlantis.
It's got to be somewhere between the trident, the star, and the temple.
Which, might I add, forms a
Holy shit, dude.
triangle.
Dude, yeah.
I'm just fucking saying. So something in here. This might have something to do with it. I think
Yeah,
this is
and-
that's an unusual shape. It looks like a baseball diamond
It kinda
at
looks
first
like a
glance,
baseball diamond,
but that's
that's not
fucked
a
up.
baseball
That's not a
diamond.
baseball diamond.
That pitching mound is way too far. There's not a circle. It goes to home base. The circles don't even go through the plate. Like, it is, that's off. That's
Distinctly
wrong.
not a baseball diamond. I don't know what the fuck that's
Yeah.
about. So there's something. Also, if this is a corn maze, these are all things you can't even access.
Yeah.
These are only things you can see from the air. Some of these, I guess, you can sort of go into, but like these,
Yeah.
you can't access those.
Yeah,
So that's just something you can see from the sky. That's clearly hidden.
it's just a message.
It's just a message. So there might be something to do with this, we'll see. But these stars represent the 10 kings of Atlantis.
Yes.
And probably either like the places they came from or something to
the
do with
location of their kingdoms or
something like that.
This, we've got to crack that code. We don't know what that's.
Also-
we kind of know what this is.
Landscape. That's that shows a hill,
Yeah.
some crops, which also a big part of the Ignatius Donnelly book is that, yes, you already read it.
Yeah.
Atlantis is responsible for the domestication of all crops that we see in the modern world. So they are the ones that first came up with agriculture, and agriculture spread to all the civilized nations of the world because of the fall of Atlantis and the people that brought it with them.
I see.
So it would make sense, one, that it has to be in a fertile location.
Yeah.
And two, this is more than just like corn modern in Iowa.
Yeah.
This is a vestige of Atlantis being the first to cultivate
Yeah.
and produce agricultural crops.
Yeah. So I wonder what that landscape is representing. Like, do you think it's a specific landscape that they're trying to depict there?
It'd be hard to prove because that's pretty nondescript.
yeah.
It's pretty nondescript. It could just be symbolic. I think we keep an eye on it, but I think that this is priority number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2, number 3.
Yeah.
If this fits in
Holy shit.
What? Don't tell me.
Okay, this is getting a little weird.
Don't tell me.
Okay. So I was looking at this shape here. I was looking at that on the overlay. I was like, okay, there's not quite anything in the center. Looking around, that could be something. But I was like, okay, interesting. Waterloo
Is right at that
the
little
base.
neck there,
Right
yeah.
at the neck where it's kind of connecting. It's the quickest way to get to the outer rim or to the inner part from anywhere that you want to travel in this design, which we know, transportation, train.
Yeah. Great transit system.
Waterloo is sort of the central. And I was like, okay, I'm going to just look at Waterloo. And what is the first thing that pops out? Lost Island Water Park in Waterloo, Iowa, which is at the base of this fucking shape that is connected to all of the concentric circles. Lost Island Water Park.
Dude, in Waterloo.
In Waterloo.
It's right fucking
How
there.
did they think they could get away with this?
Holy shit. So do we think that means that this actual location on the map is significant? Waterloo itself is significant, or
Okay.
is this a hint?
I don't know, because so the fact that Waterloo falls right at the base of this most inner concentric circle, I don't know. I kind of feel like there might be something
weird.
there.
That's a little fucking weird. All right. I feel like I'm at a place where I could use some further information.
Okay.
How are you? Are you?
Yeah.
You're in a shareable location? Okay. All right. Here, I'll show you what I found. So, in my fact-finding session, I have added all of the towns that fall on the different of the 10 stars, not counting the one in the middle there that is most likely meant to denote Des Moines.
Yes.
In order to throw people off the trail.
Yeah.
All of them are here. The most notable of these is one called Center Point, but we have a handful of them that we can see if it overlaps with anything. I also added the Trident onto the map here to show roughly where it falls with other places. I didn't add the temple or anything like that, but these are the locations of those 10 stars. So we can now look at some of these other things and see if anything aligns there that's noteworthy.
Okay. Yeah. So I was looking into Waterloo a little bit. I was looking into sort of where where this thing lines up. One thing that I thought was interesting was that, again, like, things have shifted a little bit since the original. So,
Of course.
like, things won't perfectly line up. But, like, looking at these sort of little spurs that come off that we were noting, we were kind of before, it kind of lines up with all of these rivers that are flowing through the center of it and out. Almost as if it's sort of a channel from the center mass outwards through the concentric circle.
Holy shit.
And I mean, over here you've got one, you've got this one kind of going around the outskirts, and you've got all of these ones going through.
Wow.
You could imagine that this was sort of a central point where all of these rivers were coming out in every direction. And probably some of them have merged and things have changed.
Of course.
But the remnant is still evidently there with some of the more dominant rivers. Like,
so do we think this is the baseball diamond is a 1-to-1 like projected on the map?
So there's less at the points of it than some of the other things. But again, I don't know if the top point does fall directly on. But that's probably
makes you
nothing.
think. Probably. That's what they want you to think. I'm telling you though, the Milo thing,
Yeah,
that's weird.
that's weird.
That's weird as fuck.
I mean,
it's like on the center point of the trident on here. I didn't draw it very well, but
it's like they're taunting us.
it's like, well, okay. If we're talking, there's a triangle involved in this.
Yeah.
There's a triangle involved in this. There's the triangle here. There's the 3 points of the trident. This is kind of a triangular shape.
There's 3 different points in the baseball diamond.
We're talking fucking threes. And clearly, this trident is the one that is the most representative of Atlantis as a society. That was their symbol. So I think it is safe to say, especially with big Hollywood giving us a clue right in front of our face, I think it is safe to say that Milo is one of the corners of this triangle.
Yeah.
Now, if we were to draw a line from here, I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
Now, if we scale something to fit between, with two of the corners being Milo and Waterloo, that should give us our other point, which could theoretically give us an actual overlay.
Yeah, of the area. that
Yeah,
we're
like
actually focusing
these
on.
may be the anchor points, because I think you're right. I think the Lost Island thing, I think Waterloo, I think that's right fucking there.
Yeah. Look at the temple, like three pillars on each
Yeah.
side. There's a triangle in the fucking top of it.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
It's fucking.
it's all there.
It's literally right in front of us. Okay, from that, I think we can fucking figure this out.
So is this going to be an equilateral triangle, are we assuming?
I assume so. In which case, we can probably figure this out even without overlaying.
Yeah.
And the 10th star, I might add, if it isn't an equilateral triangle, is right there.
Yeah.
I don't know, what is that one? Westchester.
Westchester!
It's
No,
right there.
Not Westchester!
Dude, it's right there. The distance between Milo and Waterloo, as the crow flies, is almost exactly 100 miles. It is 100-point change.
What the fuck?
Wow.
Wow.
It's
Okay.
right fucking there. Okay, so now we can find,
We know that they used the imperial system.
obviously, it's imperial,
Yeah.
okay? 100 miles.
Shit.
100 miles on each side. This town, Columbus Junction, is sort of close to where that star is.
Man.
That's a little fucking crazy. If you take this baseball diamond shape, I think that this location of Waterloo is important. But if you blow that up and pivot it so Waterloo stays there, you can get it to have these little indented corners. One of them falls on Milo. One of them falls on that Columbia Junction. The other one that makes up the triangle that we're looking at here.
Yeah.
Fucking dot falls on Des Moines.
Shit.
Uh-huh. And this one over here almost falls on Davenport, which is right on the fucking, it's like a big city right on the border
yeah.
there. So hold on, I'm gonna make a larger version of this, but this could be big.
This could be big.
This could be very big. Yeah, dude, I think we did it. Like, I think we did it. Like, I think we need to have boots on the ground to dial it in more.
I was just about to sort of look a little into like what archaeological research has been done, what dredging, like what sort of like deep sea diving have they done in Des Moines, Iowa?
It's a great question.
Because I think it's just been there. It's just been hiding in plain sight.
I think it's right there.
And we haven't found it because we haven't been looking for it.
Exactly. We've been looking in the wrong places. We've been looking for places that are underwater for some reason.
Yeah.
And I don't know why the fuck that is.
Yeah.
Here, let me send you this one.
It's completely explained by a glacier being near there one time and then going away.
It's all there. It's all there. Okay. I think we might have done it, dude.
I think so.
There is more to delve, but this has sufficiently proven the location
beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Beyond reasonable doubt.
This is only the beginning of the research that needs to be done, but we have found the location.
Exactly.
We know
where
where
it
it
is. And that's what we set out to find, find Atlantis.
Yeah, and it checks all the boxes. Advanced infrastructure and tech, Iowa. Huge wealth and resources, Iowa. Military might, Iowa.
Hogs, Iowa.
So this is it.
This is it. This is the piece of the puzzle, dude.
Dude.
That's fucking Atlantis. Put that right in the middle. That's fucking Atlantis. Okay, let's collect ourselves, and we need to present our data. Let's do this right. Let's do this right. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's time that we present our findings.
Yeah, we found some pretty damning things.
I would honestly go so far as to say conclusive things.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is pretty irrefutable evidence.
100%.
I mean, I think that within days, this should be peer reviewed. It should be published. It should be widely disseminated all over the world.
Front page news.
This is important, and we have the receipts to back it up.
Exactly, which we will now get into. So, we set out with the goal of finding the infamous lost city of Atlantis. undoubtedly the best recollection of Atlantis is in Plato's description.
Yes.
So we referred to that as kind of the primary source in order to figure out what to actually look for. We found from Plato's description that we're looking for a huge island. It's beyond the Strait of Gibraltar, somewhere to the west. It's bigger than Asia and Libya combined. Fertile. We are first and foremost looking for fertility.
Yes.
It had a layout of concentric rings surrounded by mountains, and those are kind of the main physical characteristics that we were looking for to locate the city. From there, Atlantis as an empire was known to be divine, founded by Poseidon, and has a lot of the symbology around Poseidon. It had 10 kings, which are a large part of its lore, advanced infrastructure and technology, a large, what the fuck does that even say? Wealthy, with a lot of resources, a large military, and a moral decline.
Yes.
So from there, we started to narrow things down, and Henry, I'll pass it off to you.
Yeah, so we're sort of looking, so we need something that matches either now or past kind of the physical characteristics, as well as some vestiges of sort of the cultural characteristics, because those are things that carried on. Like, you can't quite just erase those, you can't flood those, you can't erase them with a glacier.
Try though you might.
Try though you might. Try though you might.
You can't erase them under less than 2,000 feet of water,
Exactly,
200 meters of water.
And so we began looking around, and we're kind of thinking, wow, like the American continent, the continental shelf, like there's some interesting things here. Like it's matching up with a lot of things, but it needs to be a little bit more kind of honed in. And so we sort of settled on this sort of region of the North American continent, which we believe was probably all above water at the same time. It is now mostly still above water. But at one point, there were glaciers. And we were kind of looking. We were intrigued by this map of Iowa with a lot of grids around.
It really piqued our interest. We saw that and thought, huh? And so we printed it out and put it over there. There, yes. Glaciers. It's an important part.
There's water involved, there's Iowa, there's grids, there's a lot of things going on. So
you wouldn't understand.
We were just kind of looking around, asking a few questions, trying to get a few like basic information, and so we found out that Iowa, it's one of the most fertile places in the world. It is the top US producer of hogs.
Notorious for its hogs.
We were looking into things, we were looking into symbology, around it, because that's how these things are carried on. Because like, you're not going to find Atlantis as it was then today. That's just not going to happen. It's going to be the vestige, it's going to be the remnants that have been passed on through cultures. People won't even know that they're carrying on the legacy of Atlantis. And some people might know a little bit more than they're letting on. And this is what led us to this groundbreaking discovery. This corn maze in Harvestville Farm in Iowa depicts a map of Iowa with a lot of strange symbols on it. And once we kind of cracked into those symbols and dove into it, we found some pretty interesting things. I mean, talk about this?
Absolutely. And Henry's right. When we found this was a major breakthrough in the case. One, corn maze representative of the fertility of Iowa. It's really notoriously hard to make a hog maze, so corn is the next best thing. Now, corn mazes are also ephemeral. They are something that change year to year. And so it could be very easy for those who don't want us to know how much they truly know to sort of sweep the clues that they've left for us under the rug. Thankfully, our researcher here, Henry, one of the one of the most important of the two people, tied for the second most important person, discovered this. If we're talking about Atlantis as being a fertile land known for the first domestication of many crops, Harvestville is a bit of a clue right there, but they let it slip, where they allowed an image of this corn maze to be published, which clearly shows a map of the state of Iowa with significant locations relating to Atlantis. Now, how do we know that this corn maze is related to a map of Atlantis? Well, very clearly, not only all the context we have so far leading here, but we have a symbol that is notorious to represent Atlantis, and that is the trident. That is something that is ubiquitous across cultures, across the world, to represent the lost continent. So we started to look into what these symbols could represent on the map. We noticed that there are 10 of these stars, representative potentially of the representative definitively of the 10 kings of Atlantis, as well as this star here made to throw people off because it is located more or less over Des Moines, Iowa, the largest, city in the state. From there, we started to dive into some of these positions. And Henry, what did we find?
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. We blew this up and overlaid it on a map of Iowa, and we tried to drill down on what these locations meant. And so we found hidden in the trident, right in the center of the trident's point, we found Milo, Iowa. Now, Milo, as you all know, Milo is a clear indication of Milo from the Atlantis movie, which we have all seen.
Have you seen the Atlantis animated movie?
I don't know if I have. So we know about Milo. And the fact that they have Milo hidden in the center of the trident on the corn maze next to a temple. They are playing with us. They know the information and they are brazenly putting it out there, just trying to goad people into getting
This
caught.
is a tie between the location, the Hollywood elite. It's all there.
It
is all right there.
there.
Yep.
In Iowa. And so if we map this out, we take the point of Milo on the map of Iowa. Also, this big sort of baseball field looking structure shape here, and so we kind of blew that up here. It's a little hard to see, but we blew that up, we overlaid it, and it actually matches up very well if you flip it around with Waterloo, which is right at the crux of the convergence of all of these different points. And again, remember the concentric circles, remember the transportation, the technology. This is all representative of that. So if you take Waterloo here, you take Milo, Iowa here, and you connect those two in a way that works within this shape, and we connect the third point, because there's a lot of threes here. We've talked about a few other things. We've talked about shapes and symbols, but the symbology does not stop there. There's obviously the trident, it's got 3 points. But then if you look at the temple, it has 3 pillars on each side. It's got 3 dots in the middle. There's a triangle here. There's triangles here. They're all over. If you just open
everywhere.
your eyes
If you just
look.
If you just ask questions, you will find the answers. They're right there.
And so naturally, what they're trying to confer to us is that if we connect these 2 points and find the third point of the triangle, that will overlay the area of the heart of Atlantis. And so that is exactly what we did. And so once we did that, we found that if you connect these 3 points,
and that town is called Columbus Junction.
Columbus Junction. Columbus Junction.
100 miles
Waterloo,
exactly
Milo.
between all of them.
100 miles. We know from Plato that they used the imperial system.
Beyond a shadow of a doubt.
And even if they didn't, 100 miles. It's equilateral. 100 miles. It's a nice round number.
100 milos.
100 milos. They were a little dyslexic, maybe. Who knows?
Who knows?
100 mile sides each way. It creates this perfect triangle connecting these 3 points of significance with the center right on I-80.
The center, right on this random intersection in I-80.
You can't make this shit up.
We never dream of making this shit up. So now, this is obviously, you might be thinking to yourself, well, where is the proof? And obviously, the proof is right here. We've spelled that out. But this is just the beginning of research.
Yeah.
We have been able to, without a shadow of a doubt, and concretely prove the location of Atlantis. But now is where the real work begins. We do not have boots on the ground. We do not have the research. We are being actively suppressed by woke academia and the mainstream media who don't want you to know about this right now.
Yeah, and they've been throwing us all off the scent. They've been saying Atlantis is underwater. Go look underwater. That's why everyone has been looking for Atlantis in the wrong places. No one's looked in fucking Iowa because it's not underwater. That's the narrative they've been pushing for years. They don't want you to look here.
They don't want you to know about Iowa.
And so that's why, even though there's civilization, there's cities, there's people here, we've done research, we've done things in Iowa.
We've bred hogs.
We've bred hogs. So many hogs. But we haven't looked for Atlantis. There's no archaeological collection of remains, of artifacts, looking for places that maybe are underwater, maybe were underwater at one point, you know? It could be underwater like in the financial sense, just not doing that great. There's a lot of strings to pull on there.
How is the Quickie Mart doing off that intersection in I-80? Is their finances in order? I don't know. They might be fucking underwater.
These are the questions that we need the answers to, but no one has asked them yet. And we are here asking those questions, and now we need you.
We need you, the viewer. We need you, the viewer, to find further evidence of Atlantis, because we know it's there.
Yeah.
We have the proof, it's there.
Yeah.
And with further research, I have no doubt we will find physical evidence to concretely prove that this central eastern Iowa is,
right off I-80.
right off I-80 is the final resting place of the lost city of Atlantis.
And the secrets that can be uncovered there, we can't even imagine.
Steam.
Because to start with, we just needed the location. We found that.
We've
taken the first step. We know where it was, but we don't know what's hidden there. We don't know everything else that went on there. We don't know the geological record of the area. We don't know all of these secrets that have been hiding just under the 6 to 18 inches of fertile topsoil in Iowa.
And 3 to 4 feet of hog. 10 to 12 feet of corn maze. Oh my God. Buried beneath a consistent layer of hog are the remains of Atlantis. Dude. How is that for a truth bomb? This is really starting to hurt my voice. You thought to yourself,
He can't do it.
but that's where you're wrong, because all things are possible.
Through the power of blonde, blue-eyed Jesus.
Oh. Hello? Yeah, this is Milo RIZZI from the Uncut Vermont Podcast. Wow. Oh man, no, I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Yeah, no, I mean, we're all about truth bombs here, man. All about truth bombs. I'm glad you get it. I'm glad you get it. Okay, and what's it do exactly? It can detoxify your heart chakra, and it can decalcify your pineal gland? You've got to be kidding me. That just sounds awesome. Well, can it do anything about purging atrazine and glyphosate from the testicles? No, I'm asking, this is for a friend. A friend look, I just want to know. It can? And it'll increase your sperm count? Well, thank God for that, because something men these days and used to go to war or something, you know? All right, man, well, I'm signing on, but I gotta put the phone down now, because I can feel the 5G beginning to penetrate me. Yeah, nice talking to you, Chad Thadleson. All right, yeah, we'll be in touch.
Blonde Jesus, I knew you were looking out for me.
Wow, well, I guess we don't need this anymore, because Uncut Nation, I am proud to announce we just got our first sponsorship. Who needs to sell art and support artists when you can talk about
Cock powder supplements.
Cock powder supplements are made of 100% pure, cold water purified shilashit.
Do you want to decalcify your pineal gland?
Have you counted your sperm recently? Do you think that the only thing scarier than a trans kid playing tennis are seed oils?
Did you know that Supertramp did 9/11?
Well, boy, do I have the offer for you. And if you use my promo code UNCUT, you can get... Okay, yeah, that's plenty of that, I think. Jesus Christ, that was the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. How do people watch this shit? Like, do people actually believe this? That's so ridiculous that it almost feels like it could be a parody. Good God. Okay. Let's talk about Atlantis. As you're probably painfully aware, I promised to do a video on Atlantis for my Awful Archaeology series about 2 years ago. Over the last 2 years, the Atlantis video has become both probably the biggest running joke on this channel and also the bane of my existence. I obviously haven't been counting how many comments I've gotten about Atlantis, but I would genuinely put a conservative estimate at somewhere north of 10,000. The reason this project has taken so long is twofold. One, I got shit to do, and two, since the Atlantis video is sort of my white whale, I want to do it justice. So I don't want to like shit out some, you know, half-assed, half-baked video just for the sake of getting it done. It'll be done when it's fucking done. But allow me to give a little bit of an update on where we are at currently. As some of you may be aware, Atlantis is a very broad topic. So when it comes to debunking Atlantis, that's actually rather challenging because I don't really know where to start. So what I settled on is this. Atlantis, the Antediluvian World by Ignatius Donnelly. This book is sort of the godfather of all modern Atlantis theory. Sounds like a pretty straightforward project, right? You're talking about this book, so read the book and talk about it. As you guys are very aware, I am capable of turning one sentence into a 10-minute monologue. So the problem is when I have a pre-existing text to go off, I have something that I want to say about every other sentence. I've gotten through most of the book sort of in fits and starts for the last year or so, but as of this winter, I've finally started sitting down to like really begin my script. The book itself is split into 5 different parts. The history of Atlantis, the deluge, the civilizations of the old world and new compared, the mythologies of the old world and the recollection of Atlantis, and the colonies of Atlantis. Since each one of these parts is dense and mind-numbing enough on its own, the Atlantis Awful Archaeology episode will undoubtedly be split into potentially as many parts as well. Even though I'm sure you guys would appreciate a video that is 8 hours long, my editors would not. Currently, my notes take me through page 103, which is right in the heart of the Deluge Legends of America. A part which I will add is so fucking incredibly boring. It can be boiled down to a single sentence, which is that there are legends from different parts of the world that all have similar themes to them. But instead of just saying that, he decides to recount every single one of the legends, something that might be fun to do with a group in an anthropology class, but is less fun to do when you are alone on your couch reading a book that is racist. But honestly, it gave me, I don't want to say respect, it gave me a greater perspective for Ignatius Donnelly than I had going into this, because a lot of his leaps in logic in this book make some amount of sense when you consider where scientific advancement was when this book was written. So it's actually been a really interesting case study in how far we've come in the last, 150 years. And it's also given me even more perspective and even less respect for modern Atlantis theorists who have all of the modern research at their disposal and still think like this guy did in 1882. I'm not gonna give an exact date for when Atlantis is actually gonna come out because it will be wrong. But my personal goal is I will be very happy if like I can have this sort of happening by like the end of the year. Don't even say it. I know, oh my God, I have to wait. You've already waited 2 years for this, all right? This is gonna be fucking gold. Like I said earlier, this video is my white whale. I'm not going to just rush it for the sake of having a video out. I wanna take my time with it, but know that research is active and ongoing. One other thing on the Atlantis front is I also wanna kind of pull the room with you guys. If you have anything in particular that you want to like see for the Atlantis episode, I am open to suggestions. My team and I have even talked about like doing an like early release in theaters, like see if we can get some like small theaters to like air the first episode like the night before it goes live on YouTube or something like that. So I don't know if that's something that you guys would be interested in. It will probably also be coming out around when I go on tour. I'm doing a national US tour this fall, so I don't know how those things will intersect, but maybe there'll be, if you want to, do a live shows like that or something. I want to do some community engagement because as much as we have the joke where you guys all fucking hound me about it and I act like it drives me fucking crazy, which it sometimes does, it is one of my favorite little dynamics between, myself and all of you. And so as much as this is my cross to bear, I understand that this is our project, guys. A lot of you have seen me through the last fucking 2 years of not making this. And so I know that you guys are just as excited as I am, and I want to involve you in it in any way that you guys feel like would be enjoyable. So I am open to suggestions. And I also want to thank you guys for watching another episode of the Uncut Vermont podcast. It's our annual April Fool's video. It's always a hoot. And go give Henry some love, by the way. He is a photographer. He has filmed with me on site in multiple places. He is based in Vermont. He's doing weddings, drone photography, things like that. You should check out his socials down below. If you're in this neck of the woods and you need someone to, fly a drone, into your neighbor's kitchen window, he probably won't be the one to do it, but maybe you could ask him to do something else. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, go check out the shop, grab a poster, grab a hoodie, grab some stickers. It helps us do what we do here and makes us not have to accept shitty sponsorships. Myself and the rest of the team are very grateful for all of your purchases. I know that, you know, money is a tight thing in the world right now, and so the least we can do is try and put good art out into the world, which allows us to continue doing what we do here for free. So we really appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. You guys are amazing. And finally, I'd like to give a huge thank you to my editorial team. I may be the one in front of the camera, but each one of these videos is the product of hundreds of hours of work from 8 different people. So please make sure to give them a little bit of love as well. Ladies and gentlemen, remember to stay curious, stay inquisitive, and most importantly, I'll see you at the release of Awful Archaeology Atlantis Part 1, June 10th, 2056. That was a fucking, that might be, I think that's our best one yet.
Yeah.
I think that's our best one yet. Wow. That worked really fucking well. Holy fucking shit. That is so fucking stupid.
You know, I kind of believe it though.
It got like,
It makes too much
makes
sense.
It makes fucking sense. We didn't even mention the water park in Waterloo.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck's sake, dude. I can't believe the fucking Iowa map came in. This was like, we had no idea what the fuck was happening with that. I was just like, this looks funny.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Dude, it's all come together. It has all come together. Uncut Vermontcast Season 3. Wow. Holy shit,
Wow.
bro. That was really good.
That was really good.
I'm very pleased with that. That was our finest work yet.
Yeah.
I can't believe in the first one we uncovered a fucking murder. Do you
Yeah,
remember
what was
that?
up with that?
That was crazy. That was. I think I saw someone talking on the Reddit that it was like unrelated, which I hope.
Yeah, I
Maybe
hope
that's just
so.
what they want you to think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
who
my
said
God.
that?
Yeah, who said that? We should do a little digging.
Look at that.
What do they have to hide?
Yeah.
Oh my
Ask the
God.
questions.
We're just asking questions. Fucking hog map. Number of hogs. Oh my fucking God. Each tot represents 5,000 head. Wow. Wow.
5,000 head.
Well, the meme that I saw about this was like, every state is bordered by an impenetrable mass of hogs. A dense wall.
They're surrounding us.
Oh my God. For fuck's sake. Well, that's how you spend an afternoon drinking and using some print drink. Fuck's sake. Good work, bro. That was fucking great. That was fucking great. Holy shit. Fuck's sake.
I did not think that we were going to end with Atlantis is in Iowa.
Yeah, that was absolutely not, nowhere close. I was like, I knew that it was gonna be like, we had to pick somewhere on land just because like underwater isn't interesting.
Yeah.
That was not my fucking bingo card. Holy shit. Oh my God. Wow. Whew. Uncut Vermont.